Hello, and welcome to Year of the Vampire. This week, we watched Ultraviolet.
Can I just say something, just really quick?
Yes?
I wasn't sure what to think about when we went into this movie. Like, I'd seen bits of it, and I thought I watched it when I was younger, when it came out, 19 years ago at this point?
2006.
Yeah, 19 years ago. So, and let me just say, I was actually very surprised.
Yes?
Yeah, I was surprised. I was not expecting this. Because that had to be one of the worst fucking movies I've ever seen.
It was really bad.
I don't want to see that movie again. I don't want to think about that movie again.
It was really bad. This might be the worst vampire movie, if you can even call them vampires.
They had
acted
fangs.
Like it. There were fangs. Wow. And it was a blood virus. Wow. And there was more CG than there was not CG.
There was more CG than there was fucking people in this movie.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
But before we get too off track, let's try and keep this as professional as possible.
We're not professional. This movie is shit. But there is one positive that came out of this.
What?
Actually, you know what? I will tell you the positive after we go through our things.
Okay.
All right, plot. What did you think of the incredibly stupid, convoluted plot?
Okay, I'm going to start with the fact that with the info dump at the beginning of it, it almost felt like they were coming off of a prior movie. Like, it literally felt like there's a whole nother story that happened beforehand, and it just kind of started abruptly. And the entire movie was confusing.
From what I saw, it sounded like there were several other stories prior.
And maybe there is, I know this is a comic series,
is
right?
It? So, I think it was a comic. I don't know for positive. I was gonna look it up, but I just didn't. For the movie.
Okay, so from what I thought about the movie initially, I thought it was about vampires, overwhelmingly taking over the world, similar to Daybreak.
It's the opposite.
It's the opposite, yeah. Vampires are dying off.
They're basically extinct by the end of the movie, except for her, since she is the protagonist and gets to miraculously survive.
And for some reason, there's just this huge corporation that, for some reason, their main symbol is the literal biohazard symbol.
Is it the Umbrella Corporation?
No.
Because she was also in the Resident Evil movies, which are also hot garbage.
Hey, I love that series. It's not great,
dude. She plays essentially the same character.
I don't know how somebody probably wrote the script differently. They definitely did.
Doesn't matter. She plays basically the same character. A fucking, edgy, annoying Mary Sue. I'm
just saying, she was great in Fifth Element. Still her best role. And in Resident Evil, at least she's entertaining.
She's not, though.
Anyways, how about the acting?
There was acting?
It was stiff. It was bland. A lot of the stuff was kind of nonsensical. It didn't feel realistic, even when people were interacting with each other.
The wood I saw that crafted that pirate ship in Last Voyage of the Demeter was less stiff than this fucking acting.
Okay.
Sound and music. What did you think of the score, where half the songs were just the same tones repeated over and over and over again, droning on and on and on and on and on?
It was very a mixture of generic techno and generic rock of the early 2000s, and
this was
all instrumental. But I 2006, it's early 2000s. Let's be real, but it wasn't terrible, but it doesn't stand out in any way. Nothing of it's memorable. Let's just go with that.
Cinematography. What'd you think of the camera jumping all around and them not really, hanging on a shot for too long?
It's one of those kind of action movies.
Gotta make sure the audience doesn't get bored, so you flip the camera around every 30 seconds or so.
Non-stop movement. Almost the entire... I don't know how it felt as boring as it did.
Yeah, there were so many gunfights and explosions, but it was so freaking boring and unfun to watch. Alright, so our last one, special effects. What did you think of the special effects and the...
At least 90% of the movie looked like it was just poor CGI.
Only 90?
It was. There were some people there.
I'd say at least 96, 97%.
Still, it's... God. It did not age well.
No, everything is like everything just looked really flat.
It's silly.
If it didn't look flat, it looked like really low poly and blurry.
I loved the like scenery scapes. It always just looked cartoon, and the helicopters looked fake. The cars when they moved were fake.
What about that explosion when she
like,
destroyed the helicopter that happened on that screen behind her as she went through that fake glass?
I'm more confused by the motorcycle going through the wall.
And then the other wall behind it.
After she jumped off, how does she somehow stop when it's going at that much momentum? It can continue through like another wall or two.
If it was strong enough to go through like what I assume was a stone wall, I'm pretty sure she and the motorcycle would have just splattered on the wall. I don't know how easily you can send a motorcycle through a stone wall. My guess is not at all, but
probably not. But I don't know. This movie was just God. It's not what I thought it was going to be.
All right, so you want to hear my one good thing I have to say about this movie? The one shining beacon that is, my takeaway from Ultraviolet 2006.
I have a few more complaints, but sure, go. Shoot.
As much as I didn't enjoy it, really, I have to admit, this movie has actually made me rethink my stance on Samurai Priest Vampire Hunter. Really? I no longer think that movie is as, not great as I originally thought it was, because, my God, could it have been so much worse. Like, that movie, at least, it wasn't terribly coherent at times, and there was some bad...
confusing.
But... My God, it at least had heart.
Yeah, there was passion.
This did not have heart. This was just like your basic Hollywood crap overloaded with really horrid CGI, which I don't remember 2006 as very well. Did all CG look this bad back then?
No, the Jurassic Park came out in 93.
And?
That has CG in it. Which looks better.
It also has practical effects, too.
I'm just saying, but I know. And they mixed it good. They didn't overuse the CGI, obviously. How the hell does a $30 million budget movie that was in theaters look like this?
Easily. This
was... And the parts that weren't CG, it looked like this cheesy filter airbrushed on everything, so it was just smooth.
A lot of the color, bright. I don't know if it was just the screen we watch it on or if the actual movie was like this, but a lot of the colors in the darker scenes looked really blown out and kind of like...
That too.
Like, it looked like they varied, and there was a weird, that weird glitchy crackling to some of the audio. I don't know if that was intentional, because I haven't seen the movie on, DVD or Blu-ray in years.
There's a chance some of the skipping could have been,
our internet?
Could have been the internet.
Because we watch this on freaking Hulu.
But, God, where was I going with this?
Should we wrap this up? We've been going actually a lot longer than I expected.
Yeah, I guess we had a lot to say for a movie that really didn't stand up on its own feet at all.
Doesn't even stand up on somebody else's feet.
The fact that they made their money back is appalling.
All right, the short answer, both of us would suggest you stay far away from this movie.
Don't watch it. There's better vampire movies.
There's better movies.